Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is Positively Awesome Wrestling, where we keep shit as positive as possible. It is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Bay, back again for those who joined me earlier at Wrestle Legion. And I am joined, as always, by my better half of this shindig, Tidey. Tidey, how have you been this week, sir?
Man, I can't get a break, man. Okay, like it's been the weather's all right, man. I got a little sick during the regular week, but all together, man, I'm pretty happy all together, man. There's been so many good things just for me personally. So sick is only temporary, and most of that rain went away, man. I think
It's about time the rain went away.
most of it went away. There's clouds, but they can't pour on me.
So let's hit these comments before we get started. Good evening, gentlemen. David, thank you for joining as always. I sincerely appreciate it, dude. I know we get it back and forth. I know we get into it going back and forth, man, but I do appreciate it, man. You're a good dude. I appreciate it. Another week of great stuff to be Ring of Honor. Yeah, so many. Man, there's just not enough time in the week, and it sucks. And then this is Andy. He says, hey, guys. He corrected himself. He corrected himself. What up, Andy? Thank you for joining, bud. We got Amanda. She said, hey, Tidey. And she says that I'm looking good. But I think she's just talking to herself like she always is. She said, King, Courtney, thank you for joining. Cameron, thank you for joining again, buddy. I know you apologize, but don't worry about all that, man. You back now, and that's all that matters. Up for a good show tonight. He has the opposite beard of Jimmy.
What, the middle?
Yeah, because I got the white and you got the white. So if you put them together, we have the beard like my dad's, because his was like white, black, white, black, white, black. It was weird. She just noticed this. It's blowing her mind right now.
We got that skunk look.
Yeah, I'm representing that FTR today, baby, because they got some news coming up, and I cannot wait. All right, so tonight we got some things we gonna chit chat about, and the first one up. I'm going to go ahead and do this one because it's your man. It's your man, Bobby. We're going to talk about this. Bobby Lashley was supposed to take on Bray Wyatt at Wrestlemania, and a lot of people weren't with it. There was a few that were. A lot of people weren't with it. Now, unfortunately, something has happened. Don't know. He's either hurt. I don't know. There's rumors that he was unhappy with creative, and it's like, yeah, it's his creative, so that doesn't really make sense. He's been doing a lot of street fights at the house shows, though. So it's very real possibility that he was injured. Now he's out. So with that, first question. Do you keep Bobby Lashley on the WrestleMania card with his match that was supposed to happen, now apparently gone? Could still happen. There's a very real possibility it could still happen. Bray could show up this week, and then it's back on. But in the event that he's officially out, do we keep Bobby Lashley on the WrestleMania card?
Got 2 weeks, right? Man, it's hard to like maneuver last minute and be like, hey, here's somebody for him. I need you to care. It'll feel a little forced. I mean, there's Uncle Howdy. He can go, right? I mean, that skinny mother. He can. I saw him doing an elbow drop.
That's who Bobby got his hands on last. So I mean, that's a possibility.
I would keep him on because he's Bobby Lashley, but the problem is I really can't think of anybody for him to just fight. Unless you got somebody you think that can step in.
I got one that I really like, but I think there's a few options. I think he's been such a big part of their product over the past 2 years. To take him off, to keep him off, and not have him on there in some way, somehow, when you have 2 weeks to kind of correct it, even if it is just Uncle Howdy, I think you have to put him on. I think he's earned it. I would hate to see him miss it just because of an injury or something like that.
It's not even him. Yeah.
And no definitive word on the Bray stuff, but he did wrestle 6. Yeah, a hurt finger wouldn't keep him out. But again, he was wrestling like street fights. So he goes through a table the wrong way. Something's messed up. He takes a chair shot the wrong. Like something could happen and he could actually be hurt. We don't know. We'll find out, I guess, eventually, maybe. I don't know. Bray stuff kind of always seems to remain a mystery. We never find out for sure what happened. I'm with you. I think he has to stay on. Man, this is Big E. So I have a. I'll get to this Big E thing in a minute. I don't think it would be Big E because I think Big E when he shows up, it's got to be like a built up thing or a surprise thing. So it would be cool to see Big E, but I actually have a theory on Big E that we'll get to after this one that a friend of mine told me about. But if I'm going to pick a person for Bobby Lashley to step up, this is exactly how I'd book it because it has to be something that happens now. And it has to be like, you don't need a big story. You just need something to give us a reason as to why it's going to happen.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley comes out and I don't know, maybe Uncle Howdy attacks him again and he takes Uncle Howdy out and he goes, I'm tired of playing games. And then boom, Bronson Reed flies in from behind, completely destroys Bobby Lashley, picks up the microphone and says, I don't like playing games either. You want somebody at WrestleMania? I'm your guy. Drops the mic, leaves. Bobby Lashley's just left laid out. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. It's not like, I guess if you put it on the WrestleMania marquee, it's not one you're like going, ooh, that's one I've been waiting to watch. But those are two big dudes who know how to work. It's going to be two big, beefy men slapping meat or whatever it is the Big E says. And if you put Bronson Reed over Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, I think that's a very good way of doing things. It's a great shift. I always like to see how bookers are going to shift when things go wrong. I think Triple H has been pretty good at it. At least in NXT, I thought he was always pretty good at it. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. I'm very curious. To keep Bobby Lashley off, I think would just be giving up on it. But that's how I would do it. I think Bronson Reed is a perfect opponent for Bobby Lashley. It would allow people to see that Bronson Reed is not a joke and not one to be taken lightly.
Yeah,
that's mine. He says maybe have Bobby come out, Mania, do an open challenge. Pete Dunne, Bronson would be two choices. I wouldn't do Pete Dunne just because of the size difference, and he hasn't really done much. Bronson makes sense to answer a challenge though because he's a big dude who thinks he's the best and thinks that he can bully people. So have him go bully Bobby. That makes sense to me. Serious question regarding Mania next year. It's in Philly. I don't know when. I know it's in Philly though. The year of ECW. That's what I think is going to happen next year. But so yeah, Bronson Reed's my choice. I just think Bronson needs this kind of match and this kind of spotlight to really get the eyes of the viewers, because we love watching them do the splash off the top. The crowd reacts to it. They like it. It's everything prior to that we need to kind of catch their attention with. Beating Bobby, I think, does that. That's my thing. And then he's pointing this out. Knight had the Bray logo in the back of him in the backstage segment Friday, so that may not be done. I think, man, I think it's done. I think it's done. I won't get too much into that one, but
maybe that's the thing that people were always changed after they fight Bray. That it's still something that Bray can revisit later. I hope.
yeah,
because I don't want it right now. I want LA Knight to do something else.
I think LA Knight's got a. I think someone's gonna open a can of whoop ass on LA Knight at WrestleMania. I think that's what's happening there. But Bobby and Bronson would be a good match. Yeah, it would be a good match to see. It's not that it's the size. We know Phoenix can go. We know Hobbs can go. Pete Dunne hasn't done enough on the main roster. That's my whole thing. Like, I know Pete Dunne can go. I know he can. Pete Dunne's legit. But it's the perception of the fans who may not have seen Pete Dunne in NXT and NXT UK. So they don't know that. All they know is Butch, the little munchkin that just can't stop punching people, and then he loses a lot. So him going against Bobby Lashley, I don't think works. At least for WrestleMania, it doesn't work. So with that, you have any other ones off the top of your head that you think could work for old Bobby Lashley?
I was gonna say LA Knight. I had a couple people on here to try to narrow down, and yeah, the top one was Bronson Reed. I even said Uncle Howdy, Jinder, Damian Priest, LA Knight, Shinsuke, but I feel like whoever goes in there is going to have to pull off a hell of a match. And I know Damian Priest can pull off a hell of a match.
If there that's a nice nod. I really like that one. I would not hate that at all.
I would have said Jinder, but Jinder's doing NXT stuff, but he did good, but there's no way he's not going to get destroyed. And right now, Jinder's building himself up again to be like this big, believable heel in NXT. And I think he'll just get destroyed by Bobby. But if Bronson or Bobby loses, it's the better fit. And if it goes down the way you said it, I'll take it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping somehow Bray comes back last minute even. I don't know. Just hits him in the back of the head 2 Mondays from now.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want. But
even if he just shows up the SmackDown before WrestleMania, whatever. They started a story, finish. I don't care if the story isn't clicking with everybody. I like to see stories see through. I always want to see it because the payoff might make the rest of it be like, okay, that wasn't bad. Just drop it completely. I hate that. I hate
the Muscle Man dance come out, and like this may have gone somewhere with the Muscle Man joke, more jokes. I don't know, but Bobby was, pissed off about it. That could have been awesome. I don't know why people didn't like it. There was just really one segment. Technically, it was a Friday and a Monday. It happened.
Yeah, we saw the 2 segments, and my thing was the first segment was really, really bad, but the second segment was really, really good. That's why I was going to continue to give it a chance, and why I'm like, I want to see it through, but I don't know if we're going to see it through now. I don't know, but
they wouldn't swerve. It wouldn't be a swerve. It wouldn't be like, hey, we're acting like Bray's hurt just to mess with Bobby. And that's way too intricate. That's just weird. He's probably really hurt. It sucks.
WWE hasn't said anything about it as far as I know. So there's a chance that he's fine. And remember when we were talking about that segment on Friday and how we broke it down, and I was like, man, it kind of seemed like it was engineered to go at Brock.
Yeah.
So maybe because of the whole Brock refusing to work with Bray, they're like, okay, we got to come up with something else. And Bray is he's in the lab, like, what can I cook up, baby? And he's kind of he's having a brain fart and he's having a hard. I don't know.
That would at least make more sense. That makes more sense in my head, at least. I'd be better with that.
He said it would take 2000 till 2084 for Jinder to build himself up as belief.
No.
Question: who's the 2 guys he's with? It's with Veer and who else?
I can't pronounce his name. It's like the bigger dude, the big Indian dude. He's awesome.
Shenga or
I think it's Shenga. I can't say his name.
Okay, so if Jinder showed up on Monday with those 2 guys and they just beat the holy piss out of Bobby, I don't think Jinder has to look strong for that match to happen because he literally had help, and that's kind of how heels work. And again, Sanga, there you go, Sanga. Thank you, Courtney. So I think that works, and then you could literally just lead past that with the Hurt Business versus whatever Jinder's calling him and his boys. I don't know. So that's how Jinder could work, but I don't see that one happening at all.
No.
Because I think he still needs more work down in NXT before not Jinder, but Veer and Sanga need more work before that can come up. Yeah, that's exactly. And this is just a way to introduce them. You just have Jinder show up and those 2 dudes beat Bobby down. That way they look like the beasts. That way Bobby can beat Jinder and it doesn't hurt them at all. And Bobby's on WrestleMania and everything works. That would work. I wouldn't hate it at all. Ideally, Bray should lead a faction where most of his matches lead to tags or trios to cover his shortcomings in the ring. Yes, because when it was the Wyatt family, his matches were awesome. I love the 6-man matches that the Wyatt family used to have, mainly because of Brody Lee. He was really, really good. But, yeah. And they keep saying that the 2 dudes, Vincent and I don't remember the other guy, are supposed to show up and be with Bray. But I keep hearing about it. I never see anything.
Besides like Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther, and of course Bobby, people that are just whooping big ass. There's only really been one other person. You're right. It's Bronson Reed. Lately, he's like that dude. So he makes the best fit right now with what we have. So yeah, I would have to go with Bronson, man.
I co-sign this 100%. Jinder could be a MVP type role. Because I love Jinder on the microphone. He knows how to get heat, and he has some charisma to him. He's perfect for that role. I can't wait to see those 2 big dudes on the main roster.
That's what he's been saying. He's been building them up on NXT. That's the whole reason why he said he went down there, is to help the next generation, like literally build them up. So I hope he does it.
So we're in agreement here. If Bronson Reed is the guy, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
I just want to see Bronson win. You want to see Bobby win. That's where we're going separate ways here. Nothing against Bobby. I want to see Bobby used to elevate someone new.
Can you imagine a hurt lock on Bronson?
That'd be impressive.
I don't know if it's possible because Bobby got so much Latin weird muscle that goes here. He already has to try hard to get Brock in it. So
it'd be impressive.
Something. I know he's gonna throw his ass. I guarantee that.
And if you haven't, if you don't have access to the things he's done outside of WWE, I would say go watch his cage match with Johnny Gargano. I really enjoyed that. It shows that Bronson can work with a smaller guy and make it look legit. That wasn't all Johnny. As much as everybody's going to be like, yeah, it was Johnny wrestling. No, Bronson played a part in that too. And the fact that he was able to give Johnny offense and make it believable and look good and all that, it's a testament to how good Bronson is. And I'm glad that people have started to finally come around because everyone's like, wow, we bringing Bronson Reed back. And now those people are kind of starting to be like, you know what? Bronson's actually kind of good. I like that. I like that he's changed the opinions of people. That's fun. That's cool. But next up, every week we sit here to talk about like, okay, we're not going to talk about the bloodline stuff for a while. And then something happens because the storyline, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. And I want it to last as long as it possibly can without going shit. And I think it can, at least till SummerSlam now with my theories. But we're not going to talk about my theories. We're going to talk about this moment right here. Because we've all been waiting for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to come together so that they can challenge the Usos at WrestleMania and win their tag titles. Me and you haven't been waiting for this moment because we wanted another moment that happened in Montreal that they didn't give it to us, and we were just crying ourselves to sleep for the next 2 weeks after. But I've come to the realization that, okay, this is still a good story they're telling, and the payoff will be magical. It'll be really fantastic to see them win the tag titles for the very first time in WWE. Kevin Owens get his grand slam because of Sami Zayn, and that's how you close out. It's a great moment, and I accept it. It's going to be a great moment. So on Friday, I think I sat here last week and said, if Cody Rhodes, I'm okay with Cody Rhodes bringing them together, but if he's the moderator, I'll lose my shit. And when he came out there with Kevin Owens and he brought out Sami Zayn, I was like, okay, get the fuck out now, Cody. Ring. You brought them together. They don't need a moderator. They're too good. They have more history than any other two people in wrestling today. They don't need someone to help them tell a story and make it special. I even off the top of my head came up with an idea that worked perfectly. They didn't do it, and that's fine, 100%. What they did do kind of worked. It just had too much Cody in it, in my opinion. So Kevin said no, and then Cody decided to be like, rah, rah, ree, let's go. I'm Cody Rhodes, and you're going to listen to me because I'm the fucking man now. And I'm like, oh my God, Cody, shut up. And then Kevin was like, no, and he left. And then I'm glad that Kevin said no there. I'm glad. I'm 100% glad that Cody Rhodes didn't persuade him into changing his mind. And that Kevin left, and then Sami had to chase him down and says, no, you are my brother. And you are my best friend. You're my brother. But all that. It's great little moment. Kevin leaves, and I'm like, okay. And then my thought was like, okay, so Monday we're going to get that moment.
Yeah.
So it was a nice shock that on SmackDown when Sami was getting beat down, it wasn't Cody Rhodes that made the save. It was Kevin Owens. And I was like, what? It was literally one of those moments where I was like, they got me. And I always, like, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I was like, where's the peak? We have already reached the peak. It can't give me any more great shit. And this was great shit. And when Kevin went to give him a hug and Sami was like still hesitant, like, come on, man, don't hurt me. And I was like, yes, yes. I was so excited, so happy. I loved it. Call me a mark, people. I don't give a damn. I loved it. Then my emotions were at an all-time high. And then they went to the back and showed Cody Rhodes watching them, nodding in approval, like, yeah, I did that. And my emotions went Insert middle finger right there. I was pissed. I sat there for like 3 minutes after the show went off the air, just like, why? Why did they do this? Here, in case you, why do this? So, my question to start this whole nonsense, before we'll do these comments and then I'll ask the question. The hug it was so special, and then it was ruined. Cody, who they're telling you he's the one because that's been predetermined, is leeching off of Sammy Shine that he got by naturally proving to the fans he was the one they passed on. This is the most me and Dave have ever agreed on anything.
Thank you, David. That's beautiful.
Literally, me and him for the past, I think, 2 months have been dead on in agreement with this whole thing. Who do you have at WrestleMania? Cody, Roman. Cody's riding those coattails. Yep. And he says he's got Roman. So is Cody, I'm asking you this, is Cody being shoved down our throats like Roman Reigns was a few years ago as a babyface? In your opinion?
Because of the small body of work that he's done and coming in at number 30 in the Rumble, and you put it all together, yes, he is, because this is their guy. They wanted this WrestleMania moment, and they weren't going to change their minds about it. Like, no matter how much a natural babyface comes. So, yeah, he is being shoved a bit down our throats. And the only thing that some of us wrestling fans that know Cody or know that he's gone other places and proved himself, and you knew him from Stardust back in the day, is we actually like the dude. Yeah. We like him. We want good things for him. But the problem is, if you are Cody freaking Rhodes right now, you're number 30 in the Royal Rumble, you look at your own cards, I mean, you're going to need people to help you because you got no story, dude. You're going to fight Roman, who is tied up so heavily. Yeah, it's riding the coattails of another story because they can't give him a story. Like Jimmy has said before, they need a long time to build up Cody's story. So we only got so many TV spots. You think we're not going to have a KO to Sammy moment, to Jay moment, to Roman talking shit like, Jimmy, you better fix it because I'm blaming you? And where's Cody in all this? Cody can't be like, hey, man, I got this different story. If you meet me down by the brook underneath the bridge, you know, there's this guy I know who's going to start this whole thing with you. Roman ain't got time for that bullshit. Roman ain't got time for that bullshit. So because the story is the way it is going, yes, we would only assume he is riding story coattails, which is not fair to Cody because we like him. And we want him to do good. He just doesn't have enough time to tell his story. And honestly, you're a B part in an A part story. And the A part story is the Bloodline story. Because you got Kevin Owens talking shit from almost a year ago. You got Sammy in his shit, elimination chamber with Jay. You got Jay reconsidering, should I just, maybe turn on Roman at this point? Or whatever. I just got good with my brother Jimmy, who's still being a yes man. Get your shit together, Jimmy. Not you.
Yeah, I know what you talk about. I know you talk about.
How that's all the story. That is the A story. That is the S rank video game story. Why would Roman even pay attention? Why would he even pay attention to Cody? Yeah, he'd have Paul Heyman talk for him. And that's the problem. Cody has no choice but to ride this story's coattails. And that is unfreaking fortunate because I want to know why I care about you, Cody, besides John Cena raising your hand, besides you raising Sami Zayn's hand every freaking week in that ring, as if WWE's telling him to do this because, hey, man, we got to have everybody acknowledge you're the good guy, man. It's okay that Sami's not getting his moment. Nah, Sami should get his moment, but it's okay because Sami and KO still have a moment because they're A-type players in an A-type story. And unfortunately, Cody is being lower because you have no build except for that one story that Nick says. You got to finish the story of your father.
Let me just do this. This is a very juvenile comment, but I'll say it anyway. Cody Rhodes, if you're watching, this is an A-B conversation, so see your ass out of here.
Oh, damn it. You just
and
didn't
just
say that.
For all the people who, all the people I talked to about this whole thing who've now started to call me a Cody Rhodes hater, let me just be clear right here. If Cody Rhodes didn't win the Rumble, I don't know who wins I don't know how they do it. Maybe Sammy wins it, and I don't know. No, it has to be in Montreal. So I don't know. I don't know what they do at WrestleMania. But let's just say Cody Rhodes does not win the Royal Rumble, and Roman Reigns faces someone else. Cody Rhodes fights Seth Rollins at WrestleMania again, like the original plan supposedly was. I don't care. Roman Reigns keeps the title all the way till next WrestleMania. Okay. And I think there's challengers. If you started breaking up the bloodline, you had Jay, you have Gunther. There's Sheamus who could fill in for a little bit. There's opponents, Bobby Lashley. There's opponents that could make this last another year. And in that year, you tell the story of Cody. And I keep hearing this, like, Cody, the story for Cody is that he quit the WWE because they wouldn't give him a chance. And then he went and rebuilt himself on the indies. And then he proved himself by creating the best competition WWE's had in years. And he built himself up there. And then he made himself this main eventer that WWE said he never could be. And now he's back to WWE to fulfill the legacy that his father was not able to. That's a great story. You can't tell it in 5 weeks, which I said from the get-go. You're welcome, everybody. If you had all the way until next year, though, you could tell that story. You could tell that story. And when Cody won next year at WrestleMania, guess who's all completely on board with it? This guy. I'm not against Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns. I'm against Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns right now because, as I said to someone the other day, this is like Sami Zayn is Batman. No, Sami Zayn is Iron Man, all right? Roman Reigns is Thanos. And Sami Zayn did this whole Avengers arc. I'm not even talking about this Infinity War and Endgame. I'm talking all the way back at Civil War when he had the vision in his head. Iron Man did all this groundwork. He did all the work to get Thanos right there for the kill shot. And then guess who comes in to finish the job off? Superman. It makes no fucking sense. 0 sense. He's not part of this. He's not part of this story.
He's not.
He's DC. We're in Marvel. What's Cody Rhodes even doing here? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's my problem. Like, and I'm sorry if you still don't understand it. I think you need help if you can't understand where I'm coming from with it, because I can't make it any more clear. Like, Cody, this is not Cody Rhodes' story, but they've thrown him in as if it was. He has completely hijacked it. And this is another great comment from my girl. She's on it tonight. If Cody was out longer from the injury, Sammy would be holding the belt. And I can't even argue that. I can't. So, again, to the people who are like, you're a Cody hater, blah, blah, blah. No. If they did something along the line, not do what I said, because that's not who I am. I booked it, so it has to go my way, or I'm going to boo-hoo, cry, and not watch the show anymore. That's not how I'm talking. Give me something along those lines. Give me a story that works and is told over a certain time, because Cody deserves that. I'm with it. And that's not what we're getting. And it's so frustrating because, again, I like to feel what I'm watching. And Cody ain't making me feel. I like when Roman dissed him. I thought that was funny. Yeah, diss this man. And then just to rewind a little bit, the Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman segment. Why was that segment so good? Because of the story Paul Heyman told. Cody Rhodes told his story, and then Paul Heyman came in, and he made it just, it was like, holy shit, Paul. That was brilliant. It wasn't Cody. Cody played his part. I'm not going to completely shit on Cody. He did play his part. It was because of Paul Heyman that segment was so good. And it all had to do with what? Cody's dad. The Roman Reigns, Cody's dad. If we removed Cody's dad from the segment, because he's not even part of the show, what's Cody doing? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I agree with you guys. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you. Agreed. The problem what they're doing is a short-term solution to a problem they're going to run into quicker than they think. They are the shine by associating with world. Yeah, and I will say I think it's absolutely genius if their thought was like, okay, if we're worried that Sammy is going to cause negative reaction on Cody, having them come together like this is a great way to kind of like trick the fans, because a lot of fans are buying it. They're buying it 100%. That's fine. They're enjoying it. And I'm not shitting on anybody's enjoyment. I'm literally speaking from mine. And I think Tidey's as well. I think me and him are on the same page here.
Oh,
But
it's
it's like,
been.
man, Cody's gonna win. And I asked Nick this question, and I'll ask you the same thing. Try to be as unbiased as possible. Cody beating Roman at WrestleMania will be a big moment. Do you think it will be bigger than the moment of Sammy beating him at Elimination Chamber?
No,
David,
not even
Courtney,
close.
Cameron, Amanda, all y'all, answer. Tell me, would the Montreal moment be bigger than Cody's at Hollywood? Because in my mind, absolutely no way possible, not no way, shape, or form.
That's probably why Triple H came out basically shivering with anxiety when he came out to that press conference. He's like, man, when you do storytelling right, it's like this. And I was like, the night before, the week before in Montreal, and then just the night before, you would think you would go in. And if you even got half of that buzz, you know you did a good job. Like the story was leading somewhere. The problem was the place was on fire. It still was. Like, it was the moment. Like, you know, I know he doesn't know, like we know, like we watch the TV product. We can't go to every live show, but a lot of us have been on fire for Sammy, Bloodline, Jay, Roman, Paul Heyman, and Sammy was just the dude, man. I mean, just think about how it was set up. Like even Jay had to walk out after seeing Sammy get that hit. I mean, how do you not justify a more sympathetic fucking moment than that? Like, God, dude, like you fucking had the right hand man walk out, and the same shit happened to him. Like, it's fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not gonna give me fucking, sorry, if you're not gonna give
You're
me
good,
Sammy
buddy.
at elimination,
You're good.
it would have been Jay soon to step up and be like, you know what, I'm walking out with Sammy, and then maybe he challenges Roman. Maybe he didn't have to, you know, team up with Sammy to do that. That would have made me feel more than Cody winning at WrestleMania. If Jay would have been at WrestleMania now beating Roman, it would have been like a holy shit fucking moment that Jay realizes that would have been bigger. So to play Cody's advocate for a couple seconds, whatever he's worth, is it really, we all know it's not his fault, but we're going to say fuck Cody because that's what we know, even though it could just be the booking's fault. Triple H's mistake. Somebody on the board that said Cody has got to be our guy. So
now I'll say this: it's very possible that when Cody was in negotiations to come, it was in his contract to say like, "Hey, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want my moment to be at WrestleMania next year." That's very possible, and if that's the case, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and there's nothing we can say. Let's hit these real quick. Sorry. He said Cody will likely take the title at Saudi show. It'll extend the story a bit and flesh it out more, and likely lead to not a clean finish at Mania. And I'm not with it. I'm a person that like will accept finishes that aren't clean. I'll accept disqualification. I will if it makes sense. There's nothing. No, I wouldn't accept that one unless it was brilliantly done and it just would blow my mind. I'll say that. I'm not going to go in with a definitive answer because that's not who I am. We want Cody to have his moment, but later, yeah. And then this is to answer my question, Sammy's moment or Cody's moment. Sammy's would be bigger because Cody, we expect Cody's trajectory. We didn't expect Sammy to get where he was at. It just wasn't. The moment Cody came back last year, we were like, okay, when's it going to happen? Like we knew this man was going to win the championship. We just knew. Last year, we didn't expect that with Sammy because he lost to Johnny Knoxville in a jackass match. So it's like, that's the biggest like growth I've ever seen in a character in a 1 year. Like that's insane to me. And they just were like, nope. And we want Sammy to overcome. He says no as well. Should have been Sammy. Sorry, Sammy at the EC would have been bigger because the reaction from the crowd, and Sammy would have been 100% genuine. And he had his family. He's never put his family on TV in his 20-year career, and he's like, "We're doing it for this." And so, man, and like I said this afternoon, that would be replayed for decades. Cody's can be replayed for decades. It will not have nearly the same weight as Sammy's would have. No question.
To also,
she's commenting on your passion. She loves it. That's a good job. So, and then Cody's win will be more manufactured. 100%.
Yeah, so here's something else I got to say. Now, think about Cody and all his promos. And some of his latest promos, I can see the kid's got it, man. The dude's fucking great.
Fantastic promo.
Now, think about Sammy leading up from last year to where he got those unsure moments on his face, whether they would accept him or reject him. Those moments where he seems like he's almost crying. The moments where he had to turn on KO. When he turned on Roman at the end, and he looked at Jay, was like, "Dude, and then he gets a kick to his face." He's more relatable as a human being and as a character. They haven't built that for Cody. Cody needs to do that, but right now, man, you just gave me an authentic human being to root for. It's not just a wrestler anymore. That surpasses anything. So Cody's got some big shoes to fill that he just can't fill. Those shoes don't belong to him. It's fucking over. Now, if Cody wins, I'm going to be okay with it because I ultimately like Cody.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to be at the crowd going like, yeah, adrenaline in my soul, baby. I'm going to be happy.
Taste, I think the bad taste in her mouth that me and you were talking about is that clearly it looks forced. It's not a natural story. It's not a story they can integrate and make Cody's own story. It's just unnatural feeling. And I think most of us can sense that, except for the Cody marks, who just like, Cody's the greatest thing in the world, and Cody and Dusty Rhodes, and I'm just going to say that. Cool. That could have been Cody if he never got injured. We would all be saying this. Sami Zayn shit would have ended back in what? The last thing in the War Games. That would have probably been it with Sami Zayn's story if they would have really kept pushing for Cody. But even at that point, Sami was just so naturally taking over. So, I mean,
how many special moments has Sami given us during this bloodline storyline? I can't even I can't keep track. It's been a lot.
It's got to be at least 10.
And with those, how many of them were like pop moments where the crowd was like, boom, that was fucking awesome?
At least 4. At least.
How many times I cannot look back on any storyline, any feud, or anything like this that gave us this many moments like that because of one person. Like, nobody else could have done what Sami has done with this bloodline. I stand by that, because we talked about this earlier when we first started the show. Sami's ability to go from goofy, lovable guy to serious to sad to just the way he's able to just flip it on the blink of an eye. I don't know anybody in at least in WWE right now that can do what he's doing. Maybe no, I won't say that. Jay's great, but I don't think he can switch like Sami does.
Yeah, dude, just the moment where he went to KO in the parking lot, like, I am your best friend, and I love you. He had to say that after KO walked out like that. And, man, it only would have worked if Sami meant it. And, of course, he means it. That's his best friend, man.
The best one to use as an example is go back to Royal Rumble. He went from feeling sympathy for Kevin Owens.
Oh, that's right.
To getting pissed off at Roman Reigns, to being immediately, like, he hit Roman out of anger and he immediately flipped it and it went right into apology mode to Jay, be like, I'm so sorry, man. I'm sorry. And then he got his ass, like, and it was believable because of how good he's been in this. And unfortunately, this is the sad reality of how, man, I've loved this story so much, and it's deflated me, but it's deflated. I'm not hating it because it made me feel, and at the end of the day, if it makes me feel, I love it. I don't want to see Sami win the championship. I don't want to see it happen now, because I don't think there's anything that could top what we could have gotten.
Yeah.
So don't even try to force it on me at this point. If for somehow, some way, I think it's impossible, but if you can give me a moment that equals that or tops what could have happened, do it. But if you can't, don't touch it. Let him be part of the exclusive non-WWE title guys. I'm fine with it. And what this also allowed me to do is open my eyes a little bit. And this is for the people who kept telling me, if you think Sami was supposed to win, you have not been paying attention. First off, insert middle finger. Second off, Cody Rhodes ain't the guy either then. Jey Uso's the guy if you've been paying attention. And if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the tag titles at WrestleMania, like we all think they will, and then Roman Reigns retains the title the next night on night 2, like I think he will, I think what you do, and I've brought this up last week a little bit, but I think Jay's the next guy. Because at that point, if it's not Cody, who is it? Who takes it off him if it's not Cody? Because it can't be Sami at this point. Sorry, I apologize. It just can't be Sami. unless he wins Money in the Bank and he terrorizes Roman. But even then, I don't think I would like it that much. But it has to be Jay. And if you're giving me a moment where Jay beats Roman at SummerSlam for the title, and he wins it because Sammy helped him, you've kind of fixed things for me. And I think that would be a much better. I think that moment would be better than Cody Rhodes winning at Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. I think so. I just feel like Cody's being so forced on me, and it makes me seem like I'm just hating on the guy, and I hate that that's the case because
I hate the direction the story's going.
I hate many people.
I hate the roles that they're giving to the players. Yeah. And I hate the direction that the story has gone.
Yes.
And you couldn't give me a triple threat at WrestleMania because you missed your point at Elimination Chamber. But now I'm really happy for one reason. Just remembering like how KO was so good with Seth Rollins back then. And just seeing them go back and forth. And then seeing KO, I didn't like Cody was in the ring. He could have left, like you said, as soon as they came out.
Yeah.
But seeing KO and Sammy's just they're talking, I'm really happy that I get more of that. Because if they want to be funny, dude, those dudes could be funny.
Yeah.
Those dudes can do anything.
They had a heel run together a few years ago where they could have won the tag titles and it would have been fine. But for whatever reason, they didn't. They split them, and it was like, that was way too fast, guys. What was that? So I am happy that Kevin Owens is going to get his Grand Slam. I think that's fantastic. And I'm happy that Sami Zayn is going to have a special moment at WrestleMania because I think he's earned it. It's just not the moment I wanted. It's just not the moment I wanted, everybody. Think back to when Hangman beat Omega and the Raw emotion there. Sammy's would have topped that. And I cannot think of a moment in history. And I know this is crazy to compare the two, but I think maybe Hogan beating Andre at WrestleMania 3 is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that would be a bigger moment in my eyes than Sammy winning at the Elimination Chamber over Roman, because of the fact of how big Roman has been built up and how much Sammy has grown over the past year. It would have been just that special of a moment to me. That maybe I'm romanticizing it a bit. I don't know, but I think it would have been bigger than literally almost everything.
100% agree. I 100% agree.
It would have been the perfect way to cap off the storyline.
It felt like I was crying for 3 weeks after Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I could tell,
I cried
man.
a couple times, but it wasn't for 3 weeks straight. It was I went into a depression of wrestling depression.
Yeah.
Because then I started asking you and other people, is there a chance he can come back by Mania? And people were like, no, because Cody's the chosen one. I'm like, no, that's forcing it. And that's forcing my feelings to say fuck my feelings. So that shit crushed me. I can't really think of a bigger moment ever that I've wanted so much. I've never wanted something so much in wrestling to see my underdog Sammy. Never.
I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think we all think Sammy should be in the Elimination Chamber, and that's the belief we all had. So we're with you on that.
It's like dirty leftovers. He's getting what should have been his leftovers.
I think there, Cameron, Sammy doesn't have a path back to Roman at the moment and won't until after. Yeah. So Money in the Bank is the only way it happens. And again, I just think that's it's such a cop out after you just basically abandoned the perfect moment. He says, agrees with what we're saying. Courtney agrees with what he's saying. Come on, stop this. Sammy wasn't supposed to be a regular member of this story. He made him exactly. He made himself. It was his idea, and he showed them that it worked. You reward someone for that. That's what I miss about wrestling. And I brought up the Hogan Rock match earlier today. Like obviously there was a plan, but then somewhere along the lines, they're like, you know what? This could probably be better if we went this way. And that's what they did in that match. It's like they don't do that anymore in wrestling. It's very rare when they do it. It sucks. Listen to the fans, man. They're the ones who brought you to the dance. Sting beating Flair was huge. If you want to go back, I didn't watch it live, and I'm a person that I didn't watch the Hogan Andre one. I just understand the impact it made. But that could be a big thing. Oh, my birthday's Tuesday. Ooh. Do not wish me happy birthday. I don't want to hear it.
Do it on Wednesday because he doesn't want to hear it.
I'm literally gonna go and change my birthday on my social media so that nobody knows. I don't want to hear. I'm past that nonsense. But yeah, I said this is positively awesome. We don't get negative, and we just went full negative on Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry, Cody. I do like you, man. I really do. But you
I tried to
stole my
take
man's
notes
moment.
after.
You stole my
I
man's
tried.
moment.
It's not his fault. This is the way the story's been
Yeah,
written.
it's not his fault. That's why I'm not
he's one
hating
of
on
those
Cody.
players. It's really not. None of it's really his fault. He just has to deal with the lash out of having a great story tooken, and then you have to write it because there's nothing for you to say or do. It's just, it sucks to be in that position. But he's Cody freaking Rhodes. They keep saying all this great shit about him, and I've seen his promos, and I've seen some stuff back then. I know about Cody. He can make me believe and care over time. He can. It's just you can't do that leading up to WrestleMania. Not for me.
Yeah.
Now after Mania, hey, I'll
Like,
listen.
I'm just trying to think.
It's not hating. It's just
The best movie of all time is like something like The Godfather 2. Imagine you're watching The Godfather 2, and then right when you're in the third act, all of a sudden they're like, all right, check out, I don't fucking know, just some other, here's Avatar. Here's the end of Avatar to go with the beginning of Godfather. It's like these are both universally loved movies, but you can't mesh them together. What are you doing? You can't do that. They can, because there's no piped in crowd noise for Sammy. There just isn't. There just isn't. I can test. I'm a testament to that. I've been to like 4 live shows where the Sammy stuff was just unreal. So, he said he's going, man, you better not. I don't want to hear it. But oh man, calm down a little bit. Bring myself down. So we're gonna talk about this real quick. I know you didn't watch AEW this week, but I can fill you in a little bit. I think you know at least 2 of these guys. You got MJF, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. You know Darby, you know MJF.
I know. I've seen Darby have a hell of a match with Samoa Joe. I like his style. Have
you seen Sammy or Jungle Boy at all?
I haven't seen them.
Okay, that's fine. So when AEW started, these were the 4 young guys who no one really had an idea who they were. The people who follow everything, they know, but like the people who just kind of tune into the weekly TV stuff, they didn't really know who they were. It was just kind of like, okay, these guys, they're really good. They're very, very young. So they call them the pillars of AEW because they're the ones that are holding up this house and are going to take it to the next level once they reach that status, if that makes any sense. Okay, if I can compare them to anybody in WWE to help you understand the significance, as of right now, I would say Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, Carmelo Hayes, and Tiffany Stratton. Those would be my 4 pillars right now for WWE. And that's what these guys were to AEW a few years ago. Obviously, MJF is world champion. He's arrived. Darby Allin, he's done his thing. Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, they've had their moments. Jungle Boy has spent most of his time doing tag team stuff. He's kind of recently broke off into the single stuff. This past week on, they've all had matches with each other too, I think. I'm trying to think. I think they've all had matches and they've all been great. Like they don't miss. So MJF was having himself a little re-bar mitzvah on Wednesday. Great television. And then in the middle of his ceremony, Jungle Boy's music hits. And I immediately popped. I was, oh, yes. I knew it was coming in. He comes out, and then Sammy comes out, and then Darby comes out. And it's like, okay. They're setting up a 4-way for the world title with their pillars to kind of say, okay, these guys were the ones that were going to be our next crop of main event guys. And now it's like, now we're going to test it out and see what happens. Obviously, MJF is a big fucking deal. You only know Darby. So I'll just ask you about Darby. Do you understand, I guess, how good MJF is at what he does?
Yes, I've seen enough of his promos and stuff on YouTube where, yeah, that dude's amazing.
And you know that he's the kind of guy that could kind of carry your company, kind of like Roman carries it. He's compared to Ric Flair a lot, which is a insane comparison, but I do see it. He's just that big of a deal. So I'm gonna just run down the other ones to see if like they match up, I guess. Dave, chime in. Courtney, chime in as well. What's Cameron? Chime in as well. If you watch AW, I don't know if you do it, Cameron, but if you do, chime in on this. We'll start with Darby, since you know Darby. With the little bit you've seen of Darby, and I'll say this, he is a crazy guy. You see the stunts he does in the ring, he does it outside the ring as well. I saw a clip of him jumping a house with his Jeep.
God.
Yeah. To me, not finding a way to incorporate him with Jackass was kind of crazy because he fits it perfectly, and it would have been a great like tie-in in some way. Not saying have a match with someone from Jackass, just a tie-in where Darby gets that exposure and brings maybe just a few viewers. I don't know. But based on that, based on what you've seen of Darby, do you see him as being the kind of guy that can be the top of your company?
Yes. What I've seen of him, I definitely think so. I mean, I did watch the YouTube of those four. I saw the Rebar Mitzvah. I did watch that whole thing. I love the way Darby was talking. I'm like, man, this guy is solid. You know, he wasn't going to change himself. I love that he said that. When he left school or whatever, he's like, I get to go someplace and I can still be Darby. It's like that kid figured something out when he was really young. And that in itself means he's got a story to tell. I just liked how he did that. He convinced me just from that alone. So that dude has some star power.
Okay. I'm in agreement as well. Like, I like Darby. Like, I was kind of like, I don't want to say put off by Darby the first time I saw him, but I just wasn't impressed. I was like, oh, he's just a guy who just does these silly spots. Kind of like Jeff Hardy, just not as talented. That's how I viewed him as first. I'm glad my opinion has changed because I absolutely love him now. He's one of my favorite parts of AEW. Like, he's top 3 for me in AEW. That's how much I really enjoy Darby. And I constantly am like, I want to see the guy. I think it would be a crime if he never wins the world title in AEW. And his promo on Wednesday made me believe it even more. Like, he loves AEW more than MJF ever did. So that's his title. And I felt that. It felt real. And I'm 100% like, yes, he could be the guy that you put the belt on and let kind of do the thing. And again, using his crazy stunts is a great way to get attention on you. You do a crazy enough stunt, people are going to be like, yo, what the hell is this guy doing? He's a wrestler. Well, if he's doing this, what's he doing in the damn ring? I want to see that. And they tune in. That's how my mind operates. Like, that could be something they did. Let me hit these comments real quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. Brought the 4 pillars together for a match when all 4 were ready to have that match. And yes, I was pushing for it forever, and they waited and waited and waited. I was like, come on, pull the trigger on it right. I'm glad they waited because the moment was perfect. It's a top 3 moment in AEW history to me. The 4 pillar segment. That's how great I thought it was. I can't wait for Tuesday. That's my favorite thing about Tuesday on my birthday. Maple Street biscuits. If you've never had it, you need to go find one. It's amazing. Sammy Guevara. We're gonna get to Sammy next. We're gonna get Sammy Vic. She loves some MJF. That's her favorite. Darby is 30, Darby's 30, Sammy's 29, Jack is 25, MJF is so young. They're all just so young. What was the question? If you watch AEW, I want to know, just chime in when I ask a question about, like, if you think this person could be a guy that led AEW, could be the top guy for them, and it works. Obviously, if they put the title on him, like, and the ratings would crumble, that doesn't work. If you think there's someone that could hold the fort for AEW as the top guy, that's what I'm kind of looking for. See, I want to run with both worlds on. Yeah. I don't know if he's done any work with Ring of Honor. I know he fought Joe, but I don't know if he's done much other with Ring of Honor. But I just think he puts his body on the line. You got to reward him at some point. You just do. He's progressed so much, too. He used to not cut a promo at all. The promo he cut on Dynamite, I was like, that's real, man. I loved it. And I love the lines like, if you don't give me my shot, you know what I'm going to do? I'm
playing on Twitter.
On Twitter. He turns back to him and everything. Just the little things. Just be like, I don't even respect you, man. I'm just going to go complain on. It was great. It was fantastic. So Darby, check. He's a guy. Sammy Guevara. This is a guy you might have heard about Sammy Guevara on Twitter for all the wrong reasons.
I never looked into it, but I know there were some weird things going on with him.
He's
but
a very,
I never looked into it.
Very, very, very arrogant little guy, but he's really good. He's really good. And he's one of the guys that we've met. My son loves Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy are his 3 favorite in AEW.
Wow.
So that's what's crazy about this. And then me and Amanda, we like MJF, but I also like Darby. But
well, there you go. All 3 are marketable. Your kid loves them. What do you know? Pillars.
So we met Sammy, and he was a sweetheart. He really was. Like, he treated my son with them, and it was like, well, you were giving him money. No, this is before we were giving him money. He had no idea we were going to show up and give him money, and he was just awesome to us. He treated us like, not like we were fans, but like we were people he was having conversations with, and that's a big deal to me. Sammy's a good dude, in my book. He's done some questionable shit. But as a young kid, I think everyone has. But he's kind of, a Ricochet, I guess, if we're going to compare him to stylistic in
he's that good?
WWE. Yeah, he's like a Ricochet kind of guy. His selling needs work. I told you about the spot where he did the damn leapfrog onto Cody and Cutter.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Again, I think I'm going to say no to Sammy being a top guy just for his arrogance. He has to put that in check, because they started doing house shows in AEW, and he's like, I'm not doing that. I take bumps and they're going to feel special. If I do house shows, that's not special. I'm not doing that. You got to put yourself in check. John Moxley's doing those house shows. You better do them too. World title, again, until the ego gets put in check, I don't see it. I think he has a look. I think he has an attitude, and he clearly has the talent. But man, I hate it that his attitude is going to be the problem. Remember Enzo?
Oh, no. God, no.
I won't say he's got an attitude that bad, but that's the perception a lot of people have. Apparently, he got in a fist fight with Andrade backstage. There was another incident he had. I don't remember. He just, and he has a very punchable face. So that doesn't help me either.
No,
he just looks like a guy you want to punch. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't see Sammy being a guy. Let's see what's going on here. I like Darby, but he reminds me of someone I'm not a fan of in real life. So I think that stops me from enjoying it. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I just enjoy watching him get his ass whooped. He's very good. Here's the best thing I can say about Darby Allin. He is the most realistic wrestler to me, because every time I watch him, it really feels like he's fighting for his life. It really does. They beat the piss out of this kid, and he sells it all the way. He doesn't slow up. He doesn't ease up, and it really feels like he's like, oh man, I'm about to die if I don't do something. And he does it. And that's the thing about Darby, I think, that works. Sammy, I did not see holding the whole. So we agree here too. The world title, amazing talent, will hold lots of gold, but I don't think it's a world. He's been TNT champion 3 times. Unfortunately, those 3 times it was like within 2 months period, because they didn't know what the hell they were doing with the titles, and I think that kind of dropped them down a bit. Man, I hate it for Sammy, because again, he was fantastic to us. And if you're good to me and my kid, I'm a fan of you no matter what. Unless you do some really heinous shit. But yeah, I don't see him being a world champion either, which is a shame. You should check out some of his, if you have a chance, you should check out some of the stuff he's done. I know where was he before?
I know Courtney is a very high praise for Sammy.
She could probably tell you some places to watch some Sammy matches. Just to see what he's capable of, if anything, because he is mega talented, like mega talented. And he's another one. When I first saw him, I was like, I don't like this kid, but he won me over.
But you think that's like speaking so highly of? Do you think he stays in that position to where he can't get over his arrogance or build better? He said he's young, right? He's like 25 or something, 26.
Where's let me see. Sammy is 29.
Okay, well, shit, he get into your 30s, Sammy. God dang it! All right, so there's always a possibility where the dude can sharpen up. That's always a thing. So at least got to give you a little bit of hope of, hey, let's let him shock me. Because right now I'm thinking you're right here. It's kind of cool to see them go there. You know,
it would be awesome if I could see him do it. I just don't. I've not seen I've not seen anything that makes me think he's going to change. Because I mean, at 29, I feel like that's when you kind of go through a big change in your life. That's where you kind of start to figure some things out. I think, in my opinion,
some people,
most of my friends right around 30 was when they kind of like a light bulb hit, and they're like, okay, I need to stop doing this. It's just not how life is supposed to be. So yeah, Sammy has a vlog every week, and we made the vlog one time, and it was pretty cool. My son Dale, he lost his mind. He goes, "I'm in the vlog, Dad." It was cool. He let my son hold his belt. Like he goes, "You got the world title?" He goes, "Let me get that world title." He goes, "You can hold my little TNT title. Let me get that world title." So like the interaction was just great. It was fantastic. Yeah, we made that the vlog video. I don't remember which one it was though. That's the unfortunate part.
Oh no.
Yeah, she loves Sammy Guevara. And again, I do. I just wish we get over that attitude shit. And now last but not least, Jungle Boy. I honestly don't even know who to compare him to. I think he's very innovative. He's very, very innovative. For his size, you would expect him to kind of be more of a high flyer kind of guy, and he's not.
He's not.
I don't get that impression from him. I get as more of he's a very fast paced kind of wear you down kind of little guy. I love him in tag matches because the way he finds the moves he does, like he'll transition from move to move, and the way he does it is like things I've never seen before. Like he'll do a German suplex, but when he does it, he's rolling and then he's coming back and he's grabbing them with his feet and doing a toe, like grabbing them with their feet and then flipping them over the other guy, and then he gets up and he hits the corner. Like the way he transitions from move to move is, I don't see many people doing it like him. He has a good look. He's really small though. I think of the four, he's the one that like looks the smallest. He probably isn't, but he looks it. Probably because that big damn fro he's got. His music is fantastic, and I know that's a silly thing to bring up, but I think music is a big deal, because if your music hits and I don't care, then I'm not gonna care. But if your music hits and I'm like, oh yeah, here comes Jungle Boy, that's a big deal. I think it works. Jack Perry is still too early in his journey to get a real feel for what he projects, but his in-work, his spot, and his promos have improved by leaps and bounds. So like last year, he came out and was like, I don't like doing promos. I don't want to do them. I just don't want to, because he's very shy. And we met him like last month. And yes, he is a very shy guy. He did not interact with us well, but that's just who he is. I don't hold it against him. He was nice enough. But yeah, he's just not a talker. So, but I will say over the past year, he worked with Christian. He was with Christian for a little bit. I think Christian helped him. He owned that craft. He's a little bit better of a promo now. Of the four from that segment, I think he was the worst. That's not to say he was bad. He just, when you're in the ring with MJF, you tend to look a little bit worse than you probably are. He's just that good on the mic. Let's see. He's the youngest, I think. Let me look at these ages again. Yeah, he's 25. MJF's 26. So Jack Perry's 25. I'm glad he dropped the Jungle. Did he drop the Jungle Boy name, David? I'm not sure if he has. I hope he does, because Jungle Boy can't be world champion. Jack Perry can be. Jungle Jack could be world Jungle Boy can't be Jack Perry, world champion. I wish I could find someone to compare him
Jungle
to.
Perry.
No, not Jungle Perry.
he looks like Nathan Frazier is what I thought when I first saw him.
So you remember the show Beverly Hills 90210?
Yeah.
Okay, what was it? Luke? The Luke Perry
with the eyebrows.
Luke Perry.
I mean the forehead.
He looked like James Dean. He was with Brenda, I think. Okay, so that's his dad. That's That's Jack Perry's dad.
What?
Yeah.
Luke Perry's his fucking dad.
Yeah, there's like clips of him taking Jungle Boy to like shows when he was a kid.
My 40-something-year-old ass's world is spinning right now. Like, this can't be
I'm
real.
glad someone finally understands it, because I've told a few people and they're like, what's that?
I'm gonna go call some friends after this shit and be like, guess whose fucking son that is? Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. So Man, I really wish I could just wrap my head around someone to compare him to,
nuts.
so you got an idea of what he is. But man, his hot tags are amazing. You remember Cesaro's hot tags and how he was very innovative when he got in that ring and he just was bouncing.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I keep calling him Jungle Perry now. That's kind of how Jack operates in tag teams. Obviously, he doesn't wrestle the same as Cesaro, but the hot tag, the energy that he brought and everything with it was very cool. He's just so innovative. He's so innovative. I hope he can continue to grow. I don't see him as a world champion right now. I don't see him as a guy that can carry the company because his promo work isn't that good. I hope he can grow, and I hope he can do it. Here's 4 more. Takeshita. Takeshita is amazing. He will be a wrestler. He will be a best wrestler in the world one day. That's how highly I think of Takeshita. Daniel Garcia is really good. The Wheeler Yuta is another one that's really good, but the problem I have with these two, Garcia and Yuta, is they're not entertaining to me. They're very like dry. They don't work. And then Jimmy Hayter's a beast. Jimmy Hayter, absolute sweetheart. We met her when we met Jungle Jim. I was about to call him Jungle Perry again. Man, I'm lost it. Oh, man. But yeah, Jamie Hayter is an absolute sweetheart. She has everything. She's fantastic. And I think it one day, just like Takeshita, I think she could be the best female wrestler in the world. I think that highly of her. And then MJF will win that match, but each guy in that match will come out looking better than they were. Absolutely 100%. I hope there's no stipulation added to this match. I hope they just let these 4 guys go. Again, this is a match you'll be able to see Jungle Boy at his best because he'll have the bodies to show his innovative offense. So do not miss this match. Whatever you do. If you have to watch it later, that's fine. But don't miss the match so you can get a full-on grasp of how good he is. Because you already know Darby. And you got an idea of Sammy. And obviously MJF is that good. Obviously MJF will win that match. I hope it's on a pay-per-view. I don't want it to be on a TV. Please don't do this on TV. Please do it on a pay-per-view. And secretly, please let Darby Allin win. I will pop huge. Yeah. Oh my God, love me. She was such a. She almost seemed like she was happy that we were there to see her. That's how she came across, and that's the best. When you meet someone like that, you're like excited to meet, and they're excited to meet you too. That's awesome. It's been better than his babyface stuff for sure. I still think he's too monotone. I don't believe him when he's saying his shit. I know he's not reading the script. I still don't believe him. So he needs to work on that. So yeah. And if I was to rank the 4, I said what we'd rank them. I got MJF number 1, obviously. Darby Allin number 2, clearly. And then Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy. That's not to say Jungle Boy is the worst. It's just he hasn't got to the levels the other ones have. Sammy Guevara has had Chris Jericho pretty much his entire time in AEW as well. So that's very helpful. And then Darby's had Sting for most of his, at least the second half of his time in AEW. So that's very helpful. Yeah. Jungle Boy had Christian for like 5 months, I think. Not as big of a deal. Now I'll ask one last question before we go. That has nothing to do with this. We touched on that. There's a debate going on Twitter. And I know you keep your business out of these things. So I just want your opinion.
Okay.
Have you seen this going around?
Yeah, I seen somebody post that. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the discourse that was surrounded it?
No.
Okay. So have you know Kenny Omega clearly. Have you ever heard of El Hijo del Vikingo?
No, I have not.
Okay. So I'll co-sign. I'll go ahead and give him the nod. The dude is unreal. The moves this man does is insane. There's one where he's standing. I got to pull a figure out to show you this because I can't explain it. We will go with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So he's standing on the top rope right here. And then we will also go with my Cody Rhodes figure is in the box. I can't use Cody. So we will just go with Sami Zayn. So the guy is doing this. And Sammy's on the top and Vikingo is on the top. And he's standing with his back to this guy. And he does a flip like this. Okay? Lands on the guy like this.
What?
and then completely switches gears in air and hits him with a poison Rana. That's the level of talent we're working with this Vikingo guy.
That doesn't sound even real. That sounds like some
the first time I saw, I thought it was a fake ass clip. I was like, "Who's doing that, man? That's not real." I've watched it a lot. It's real. It's insane. It's nuts. It's fantastic. But that's not what we're here to I guess, break down. I'll use WWE just to help you kind of gather what people complain about. If Veer, we got the long Veer is coming.
He's coming forever.
If Veer just showed up one day with no prior video packages, nothing, he just showed up on Raw and went after Seth Rollins. Not even showed up. No. Let's erase that. He just had a match with Seth Rollins. They're like, you're going to get Seth Rollins versus Veer. What's your take on that? Is that something you'd be like cool with? Is that something you'd be like, what's this? Well, I want to know like your honest opinion on it.
If I didn't know who the hell Veer was, like when Kevin Owens did that with John Cena, I knew who Kevin Owens was.
Through NXT, yes, yeah.
I knew he was a big freaking deal, and I've seen him be a big deal. If I didn't know who Veer was, and he going straight to Seth Rollins, I mean, like, why?
Now, and again, I want to put this out there real quick because I know Dave is a big fan of that, and I'm not shitting on this at all because again, I watch AEW in the sense like I tune out things that should make like. I hate to put it this way because it sounds horrible, and I'm not trying to be an asshole at all. But I kind of just tune things out that don't make sense to me and just appreciate what's being given to me on the show. That way I'm not getting angry about things that I probably shouldn't get angry about. The thing that people are mad about or the idiots are mad about. I don't think this is a reason to get mad about something. I think there's a reason to question it for sure, but getting mad I think is a stupid thing to do. Up top there, you'll see Dream Match. Okay. It's against Kenny Omega, who is to me is like a face of AEW. He's one of your top two guys in AEW, and he's having a dream match with this guy you've never heard of. Does that make it better or worse, or doesn't change your opinion on it? Like again, if it's Veer and Seth Rollins.
Oh my God! See that leaves me conflicted, and if I'm conflicted, it's a very high chance I won't care very quickly because that means I, one, don't know the history. Two, I now have to look it up. Three, I'll get pissed off that you didn't give me some kind of promotion of Kenny saying, hey, there's this guy that I've been wanting to fight. Kenny would introduce him for me if I was an AEW guy, and he would just talk about it a bit. This is a dream match I've always wanted. That now gives me substance. But the fact that I'm going to question all these things is going to be a very high chance it turns me off.
Okay.
And I won't look it up.
I appreciate your honesty here. And this is what I was looking for.
High chance.
Yeah. This is what I was looking for.
Unless Dave or someone else tells me like, no, you watch this shit now. Here's a 2-minute clip of why this guy's a badass. I'm like, but what's the history? Why should I care?
Now
that's going to have to sell me really hard.
To be fair, I will say they have Dynamite. They have a 2-hour show in which they could do something that introduces the fans, like such as yourself. If you were to tune in Wednesday and watch, and it might introduce you as to who this guy is in some way, shape, or form, and make you understand like, oh, him and Kenny is kind of a big deal. And that could happen. But if it doesn't, this is what I'm trying to find, because a lot of people are like my thing on it is like, if I'm thinking logically, I don't like this because Kenny literally just started a very, very, very important storyline last week.
Wow. And
they cut it off before we even got to see like the biggest part of it, because Hangman was turning around because he had no idea that Kenny and the Bucks had come to save him. And then he started to turn around and they cut the TV off before we could see it. So it was like, what happened? And I like it. It's a cliffhanger. That's perfect. That's how you should end your shows, at least from time to time. Give me a reason to tune in next week. And that's what they did. That's a good job. But now you're telling me that this guy that's part of that is now having a dream match with some guy who, like, I know who he is because I'm on Twitter and I see people share stuff of him and all that. That's how I know him. But like you just started watching AEW. You know nothing about the guy. And it's like, it's confusing and almost off-putting to you. And that's So there is a reason for the discourse to anybody that's like, I don't understand. That's it. Tidey's a very honest and a perfect wrestling fan, in my opinion. He watches it to love it. He watches what he can. That's all I can ask for in a wrestling fan. But
that's the average wrestling fan, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I got to be happy and hang out with my friends. I got to play video games. I got to watch anime. I got to watch Drag Race. There's so much things I have to do to stay happy and spend time and work, that if I have to look up this guy because no one's giving me any I would feel like it's the promotion's job to do that. And so, yeah, it turns me off in the sense of looking it up myself. But I can never. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, why didn't they just say something about him?
Okay, so as for video packages, WWE Faithful have fallen in love with Dragon Lee, and there's a video package for him while in the ring up there. And I'm not even going to defend those fans. I think they're idiots. I know a few of them, and they're idiots, 100%. If you're mad that AEW is doing something and WWE does, kind of like the Cody thing, all the people who hated Cody in AEW, they love him now. It's like, he's the same person. You're an idiot. Like,
I'll respond to Dave. Yeah, dude, I was thinking, like, they kept showing Dragon Lee, and I'm like, I know nothing, though. Like, I'm only hearing from other people who kind of tell me this guy's legit and he's someone else's brother, and you'd be surprised the great shit he can do. But they still haven't. They gave him an interview. At least there's a spot.
There's a lead into it.
It was just an introduction. But this next Tuesday, if they don't show me something of why I should care, it's going to be a little hard.
So I'm just going to talk. I don't know. I haven't watched NXT, so I don't know how they're doing it. But if they're just doing a lead in with Dragon Lee week by week, kind of like interview him, this is who he is, and they just have a sit down with him, and he explains why he's there. That's a lead in, and that's a lot different than just having some guy show up and challenge one of your top guys right out the gate. And had they taken the dream match off the top, like, I would literally argue with anybody who's complaining about it, because you're basically telling fans, like, you should care about this match. Why, though? But if it's just a match that you're promoting, the people who, like David, who's it's a dream match for him. And I'm glad you're going to get to see it. I really am. I truly am. I love when wrestling fans get to see the shit they want to see and are happy about it. But you're telling me this is a dream match, but you're not giving me, who has no idea who this guy is, a reason as to why it's a dream match. That's my issue with it.
Yeah.
Take that off, and I'm like, all right, everybody, shut the fuck up. This is going to be a great match. Why are you bitching? Not every match needs a story. I'm on that 100%. But if you're building this up as a dream match against some guy that isn't on your he's not even part of your roster, give me a reason as to why this is a dream match a little bit. Tell us. At the very least, tell us why. You don't have to give me a video package for it. Tell us. Don't tell me to Google it. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't like it when I got to do extra work. I'm busy enough as it is.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to watch this match. I think it's going to be absolutely nuts. It's going to be an athletic display. It's gonna blow my mind. I know it is. I'm going to enjoy it. The discourse, though, I think some people went too far with it. I liked how you responded to it, 100%. That's what I was looking for. It's a dream match because of the wrestling world I reside in spans the globe. And here's the thing. I know you're not trying to disrespect there. I appreciate you putting that in there. But for the fans who don't have the time to watch the AAA, the New Japan, the Stardom, the GCW, the FTW, the GBD, all of them, the people don't have that. They just can watch what they can watch, and you got to help them, or you're going to lose viewers. And AEW debuted with 1.4 million viewers. They're now sitting at like 850. Now, I'm not a big ratings guy. I think that number is probably bigger based on streaming and illegals and all the other stuff. I definitely think more than 850,000 people are watching Dynamite. But the fact that at one point you had 1.4 million tune in and then they tuned out because they weren't liking what they see, I think you have to correct that. You do have to correct that if you want to start putting money in your pockets. Because eventually that big pocket you have is going to start getting a little empty. And that's I want to see AEW succeed. And this is how I think it needs to succeed. You can't do things like that. If Kenny Omega was not involved in the big storyline and this was happening, again, I'd probably be a little bit less like, why? But unfortunately, you just started it. I don't even know what's happening because you cut it off. I don't know what's happening.
I'm gonna make a very human, normal person argument really quick. So the last 3 years I've looked it up, just generally in America, about 69% of us make less than 100,000 a year. 69. It's like 3 years straight. Same fucking statistics before COVID. Now supposedly exiting a bit of COVID. That means people around my age, people that are like 42, people that are in their 30s, late 20s. Not everybody's sticking through college. They're making less than 100. That's 69% of us. How much time do you think that we have?
Yeah.
No. I work.
You gotta
I work
help
a
you
40,
guys.
a 40-hour job. And if I was dumb and crazy like I used to be, I wouldn't have a social life. But I have a social life. There's like 4 friends I have to keep up with because it keeps me mentally sane. And I enjoy that shit. Then there's wrestling I want to keep up with. But then there's anime and there's other things that pop up.
There's life.
Dinner plans. There's other family plans I have to do just so I can be healthy. And I'm a very healthy individual. I'll watch anime for a week straight and then I'll slingshot back and be like, nope, got to catch my wrestling, got to hang out with my friends, got to go to a birthday party. There's all kinds of shit. I'm going on a long walk. I'm going to the gym 2 times a week this next week, 3 times a week. Like, that is very fair. Like, this is the majority of people that have to live a life like this. Now, the other majority who can just work and go home and only watch wrestling, I mean, I'm sorry, I just can't. I have to have a social healthiness about me. And so I need better explanation of things to really grab my attention, because if it's 69% and half of us can do that, there's a good majority of us would just love for you to just explain it a bit.
Yeah. And you should not be punished as a good wrestling fan. If you were one of those shitbags, I wouldn't give a fuck. But you're a good wrestling fan and you shouldn't be punished for things like that. And that, again, that's my whole argument against it. I'm not against having the match. I'm not against promoting the match. I'm not against most of what's happening here. I'm against it being called a dream match without giving me a reason as to why it's a dream match. And again, that's not just me. It's just for all the people who, again, life gets in the way. There you go. Life does tend to get in the way. Sometimes we miss this show because life gets in the way. Sometimes I can't watch SmackDown or whatever because life gets in the way. These things happen. Fill me in. Help me out with something. Just something. I'm not saying give me a WWE video package. You don't have to do that. Something. Just something. Put or don't call it a dream match. That's it.
Yeah, I ain't mad about it. I barely watch the program. I'm trying to slowly get into it, but I'm not mad about it. It's just off-putting. I'm like, you gave me a chance to care and you blew it. Yeah. And you saying it's a dream match? That means, God, you could have really told me this is so important to watch. So I'm really hoping did they give a date to it yet? Because they can still build this up for the next 2 weeks at least.
It's literally on Wednesday.
What?
They announced, I think Tony announced it on Twitter. When was it? Yesterday or Friday he announced it.
Learn from your mistakes, Tony. God damn it.
Again, I want it to succeed so much, and I want it to stick around because I enjoy the product for what it is. I enjoy it for what it is. And I want it to stick around, but you can't. Let's see. The Vikingo match likely came about very quick as far as getting it set up, and yeah, that's fair. Don't call it a dream match. That's crazy to think that's literally all you got to do to fix this.
The commentators, just like Michael Cole does, he can say that as the match is about to start. Like, this is the big deal. This guy's been let off forever. This is the big deal. You can do it that way at least. Yeah, I mean, whatever. That's just bad promoting in a way.
But it also goes with the whole thing. I don't think he should be giving away his whole show before the show, because if you're showing me everything that's going to be on that show, I know what's going to be there, and I know, like, okay, well, I don't need to tune in. So
when to walk off. You also know when to walk off.
This is a match they definitely should have promoted. Just, I think it should have been promoted a little differently. That's me. I'm not saying everything about it was wrong, because I'm just one person. I can't. But I did want your perspective on it, because again, you're the best kind of wrestling fan, and you're going to be honest about it, and that's what I was looking for. Have the announcers tell us, and this is something they could still do. They could literally build this dude up the entire show to make us be like, okay, show us not a video package, but just show us clips for the people who don't know who he is. Show them the clip of him doing that shit I just showed you. Immediately, people are gonna be like, okay.
Oh, I'm gonna watch this match. I'm sitting in for the main event. They can talk about it as that main event, getting to the main event.
I'm forced to work from home and I'm able to watch all this stuff while I do. It's not a luxury. A lot of people. Yeah. Like, I work from home and even I still don't have the kind of time to watch it all. That's so I can just imagine the kind of time someone like yourself has, or Courtney has, or our boy Cameron, wherever he went, has. Like, it's wild. And then my girl, she works from home. She definitely don't have that kind of time. So it's like, help us out.
Well, the good thing is, like, Dave can explain to me like why it's a big deal, or the fact that Dave promotes it in his own way. It gives me more fuel to want to try to look it up when I have
Tony,
time.
hire that man.
When I have time. Yeah, no, they should.
He said he just sent you 2 matches. I think I saw the Bandito one.
Ray Phoenix sounds very familiar.
Ray Phoenix is awesome. He's with the dude Pentagon. Penta. I hate Penta. I love Ray Phoenix. But yeah, that's the show we went over a little bit. I wanted to get that in there though, because I thought it was a big team. I'm gonna clip that though. I'm gonna put it up there. You might be a little bit Twitter famous tomorrow if it blows up. Okay. Oh man, nah, I won't do that to you. I won't get people singing.
No, it's fine. Do it as long as I ain't bald.
But that's the show. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm glad we got some talks in there about some extra things. I'll be back tomorrow for the Raw recap for those who are still with us. And next week, what is next week? Next week, I think, it's the following Sunday. I won't be because that's WrestleMania. Next Sunday, we're just doing WrestleMania, and if anything cool pops up, we'll touch on it real quick. But we're probably we're gonna do some WrestleMania predictions and all that other stuff next week because it's WrestleMania week. we in the end game now, baby. So that's gonna be fun, and we could probably talk about Dom and Ray's Hall of Fame speech coming up. I'm gonna let you finish, but so that's the show. Again, thank you guys for joining. If you have anything you would like to say now, Tidey, now is your chance and opportunity to let them know.
I don't got much of anything, but I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. And Dave, I'm gonna try really hard to watch the AEW this week. I don't think I have any plans on Wednesday. It's just shit keeps popping up, man, and I gotta watch it immediately. I can't really DVR it. Get me an app, Dave. You tell Tony right now. Forget the dream match. Give Tidey a damn app so I can watch it back when I have time. Son of a bitch. How do you not have an app by now?
For real.
Sorry.
Apparently that was his game. If he couldn't find a network, he was gonna buy an app to do it. I kind of wish that would have
contract probably. Probably in the contract we can't get an app. I've seen an app.
Show guys and the people in the chat. Awesome as always. Yep, thank you. And then thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Babe. Thank you for staying with us tonight. And thank you, Cameron, if you're still there. I appreciate you joining us again this week. But that's the show. Thank you guys, and we will see you next week. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Raw recap. Show better not kick off with the road Cody Rhodes.